Agreement. Why in English do we feel obliged to say she reads, he thinks, but also we read, I think, you think, they read? And why in a sentence like the boy forgot his backpack do we choose his and not her or their? The rule behind these choices is called agreement. This is a set of rules that makes certain words in a sentence match each other in their forms. Usually, one word determines some grammatical features, and the connected word changes its form to reflect those features. In English, agreement is fairly limited. It can be observed in subject-verb agreement in the present tense, she reads, third person singular, versus all other forms that bear no s ending, I, you, we, they read. Possessive adjective and antecedent agreement. The boy lost his backpack, masculine singular. The girl lost her backpack, feminine singular. The girls lost their backpacks, plural. And indicative adjective noun agreement. This cake smells good, singular. These shoes are too small, plural. However, in other languages, agreement can involve more parts of speech and more grammatical categories. Not only person, number, and gender, but also case. For instance, English does not have agreement between nouns and descriptive adjectives. A tall boy, a tall girl, tall boys, tall girls. Tall doesn't change. In many other languages, adjectives do change their form to agree with the noun in gender and number, and in languages with a case system, also in case. For example, in French, the adjectives agree with nouns in gender and number. Une grande fille, a tall girl, des grandes filles, tall girls. Un grand garçon, a tall boy, des grands garçons, tall boys. In German, the agreement is also reflected in gender and number. Ein gutes Mädchen, a good girl, die guten Mädchen, good girls. Ein guter Junge, a good boy, die guten Jungen, good boys. However, since German also has cases, the adjectives will additionally agree in cases with the nouns. Das Buch eines guten Mädchens, a good girl's book, genitive case. Mit einem guten Jungen, with a good boy, dative case. English subject-verb agreement is also limited. It's basically the opposition between the third-person singular present, he, she, it, things, and all other forms without the s ending. The verb to be is the richest example in English with 3 different present forms. I am, he, she, it is, you are, we are, they are. Other languages often have much richer systems with distinctive forms for nearly every person and number. Some also add agreement in gender. Verbs in Arabic, for instance, differentiate their forms between person, first, second, and third, number, singular, plural, and dual that indicates 2 actors in a sentence. And in some of the forms, even gender. Compare taktubu, you masculine right, and taktubin, you feminine right. Yaktuban, they both masculine right, and taktuban, they both feminine right. Taktubun, you masculine plural right. Taktubna, you feminine plural right. In English, verbs don't agree with the subject in the past tense, but in languages like Russian and Polish, past tense verbs agree with the subject in number and gender, and in Polish also person. Russian, for instance, doesn't differentiate between person in the past tense. Я, ты, он писал, I, you, he wrote, all have the same form, but it has distinct gender forms in singular. Compare я, ты, она писала, I, you, she wrote, feminine singular. In plural, there is no person and no gender distinction. Мы, вы, они писали, we, you, they wrote, plural. In Polish, the verb forms differentiate between person, number, and gender in all forms of past tense conjugation. Compare ja pisałem, I wrote, masculine singular, ja pisałam, I wrote, feminine singular. Wy pisaliście, you wrote, masculine plural. Wy pisałyście, you wrote, feminine plural. Why does this matter? When you learn a foreign language, knowing what agrees with what and in which categories is essential. It helps you form sentences correctly, understand why words take certain endings, and recognize the relationships between parts of a sentence. Agreement is not just grammar trivia. It's part of what makes your sentences sound natural and precise.